Alright, welcome back, awesome admin. So, on this trail module, we are going to talk about formulas. What are formulas? Let's read it a bit. So, you've got a lot of data in your organization. For our example, we have swimming instructors, we have students who wants to learn how to swim, we have the parents who are paying for the lessons. What else do we have? We have the swimming pool facilities, right? The swimming pool manager. So that's our organization. So your users need to access and understand this data at a glance without doing a bunch of calculations in their heads. Remember that. Enter formula fields, the powerful tool that gives you control of how your data is displayed. So, let's say you want to take two numeric fields on a record and divide them to create a percentage. Or perhaps you want to turn a field into a clickable hyperlink. You can do that as well. Or even a picture, a rating, a star rating, 1 to 5 reviews. Okay, for easy access to important information from a records page layout. Or maybe you want to take two dates and calculate the number of days between them. All these things and more are possible using formula fields. So we are going to do our own example. So formula fields is basically a time saver. So your users don't have to calculate things in their head or have to actually manually update data manually using hands, manual entry. What if there is 5 million data? You don't want to calculate all of them one by one. No, Salesforce is a time saver, and formula has a very important role in the time saving feature of Salesforce. Okay, let's go dive into it. Let's go to our hands-on org here. And I'm going to log into my admin intermediate Trailhead and close this tab. All right, now let's play with a formula. Now, let's go to my contacts here. Remember on the previous module, the preparation for the admin intermediate, we've created some data, imported some data, and now we have parents data here, parents record type. We have students, all the students, right? We have swimming instructor and also swimming pool manager. So now on the students, we have a birth date. Let me bring the column here. So we don't need the phone, the email. We can email or phone the parent. Let's say I want to modify this list. So this is a list you can create, right? How do you create it? From the gear icon here. Remember from the admin beginner module, you can create a list from here, a new, or you can clone an existing list and edit that. So I want to edit the display of this particular students list view. I don't need the phone, I don't need the email. I can email or phone the parent, not the student, right? I want to know their birth date. Okay, so we have the birth date. This is an example. Okay, so if I save, we have a birth date column, but they are not populated yet, right? They're still blank, so we don't have a birth date. So for example, let's make a formula. So when there is a birth date, we can know the age of the student right off the bat, automatically or automagically. So Stephen here, Stephen is the student. I'm going to click on Stephen. So this is the student record, Stephen Kane. And if I go to the details, as you can see, we don't have a birth date, right? So if I fill the birth date for Steven, for example, he was born in 2005, November 1st, all right? I'm going to save that. Now, if I go back to my contact list by clicking here again, we have Stephen Kane, right? And if I go back to my students list, so Stephen have a birth date, but I don't want to keep calculating. If Stephen was born in 2005, how old is he, right? 2019 minus 2005. So I don't want to do that, and then, you know, that's really time waster. We want to have a time saver, okay? So what age is Steven? You don't even have to think. We have to make a new field which can know Steven's age right away. That is what we are going to do right now. So this is on the contacts, right? Steven is a contact, which is a student record type contact. So I'm going to go ahead to go to my setup on the contact object. So gear icon like usual, setup, object manager. So what object are we going to modify or play with? Tell me. Yeah, the contact object. I can hear you. Contact object. All right, go to the contact. Why the contact? Because Steven is a contact. So Steven is a contact, which is a student, right? Now I am going to go to field and relationship. So in here, as you can see, there is a birth date already there, right? The birth date already there. So now we want to get the age of the contact, right? So let's hit new. And that would be a formula. So this is where we are going to play. It's always going to be a formula field because we are discussing about a formula. Now hit next. The age of the contact. So the name is the age. So what's the formula return type? What data type is it going to return? What data is an age? Is a number, right? Age is a number. That should be very straightforward. So the decimal place is 0 because I just want to know if Stephens is 12 years old. I don't need to know if he's 12.3 years old or 12.7 years old. I just want to know, oh, he's still 12 or he's 18 or he's still 6 years old, stuff like that. So the decimal place is the decimal point, right? I want 0 because it's an age. Next. Now, this is the formula field or the formula builder as it is being discussed over here. If we go back to the trail, this is their own example. So the formula editor, right? This is the formula editor. So we have the simple formula, advanced formula. Let me go back here. So this is a simple formula, advanced formula, right? And you can insert a field, insert an operator, and it's all the functions you can do on the right. Formulas has so many variations. We will not even be discussing about that. And it's like, you know, whenever you're working in Salesforce, like you're playing with Lego, you know, Lego, right? The block, the Lego block that you can build anything with them. So you know how to, you know, attach the Lego pieces together, but how you are going to build it is totally depending on you. So there is an unlimited ways to build Lego blocks. There is also an unlimited ways to build Salesforce formulas or anything in that matter. Processes, codes, you can build anything for any purpose. So there is no possible way to cover even remotely, you know, the possibilities on what you can build here. So we're just going to give you an example on how to use the tool, and then you can build it yourself. And remember, you can Google formulas. Google is your friend. So for example, we want to do age, right? I bet you there is somebody out there that is already built an age formula. You want to bet? Let's do it. So Salesforce for age formula. See? Bam. So I turn on my dark mode here for Google search, so it's better on my eye. So calculate age. See? Somebody has already built a formula. Especially if you are making complicated formula, you're gonna save more time if you always Google it. Somebody else might have already built the formula you need, right? So look at this. This is a pretty complicated formula. I'm pretty sure there is also a more simpler formula, but this might be covering, you know, all the bases here. He's thinking about everything. Look at that, which is pretty cool. We can just copy the whole thing, you know. If I copy the whole thing, just give you an example on how to build formula fast, and you can paste it there, right? And then you can check the syntax. Is this even right? Is this even right, dude? It looks really complicated. Check syntax. Boom. Whoa, he's good. So this is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna do the quick explanation, but if you don't get it, don't sweat it, okay? It's just a formula. So if not is blank birth date. What does that mean? So if the birth date is filled, there is a value, not blank, right? So for this case, Steven has a birth date. So Steven has a birth date, therefore the birth date is not blank. So this birth date, so you can choose the field you want to put here. So if I go insert field, contact, right? And then, oh, birth date. So this is the API name that's being used, birth date. And I hit insert. It's the same thing, right? So if I just delete this guy and I go insert field, contact, and then birth date, and then insert, there. The age of the student. Wow, what is going on? Of the student. All right. Okay, I'm gonna hit next. So this is all the functions you can do. You see, month is here, right? Month here. You can see, what does month do? So you're copying somebody else's formula, but you want to understand it. Oh, month returns the month, a number between 1 January and December, right? So it's like it's building the date for the birthday, right? And oh, so the birthday has to be less than today. Why is it making so complicated? I don't know. They're just covering all the bases. So you can't input the birthday, a future birthday. If you're putting a birth date of 2025, this formula is not going to work. It's covering the bases, okay? So the birthday has to be in the past. This is what is basically it's doing. The birthday has to exist. It can't be blank, this one. And then the birthday has to be in the past, not in the future. The birthday can be today, which will make the age to be 0, right? If the birthday is not blank and the birthday is in the past, and then calculate it. The year of today minus the birth date is the age, all right? If not, then it's null. Just make it null. So it's actually a pretty simple formula. But so the date formula, the month is returning the month. What about the date function there? The date, right? The date function is expecting a year, month, and day. Create a date from a year, a month, and a day. So creates a date from the year 2000, the month, and the day. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you, if you Google Salesforce formula reference here you can see all the available formulas in Salesforce. If you really have time, here, formulas, operators, and functions, right? This is all the available, like, what is time value? You click on there, and then you see how it works. So this is your best friend, Google, and this formula reference. Super, super, super important. This is why you what you might end up most often when you're working with formulas. You will Google somebody else's formulas, and also you will reference the formula reference page on Salesforce really often. That's what I'm doing. And so that you can understand way and way more better on how formula works, how to build solid, trustworthy, accurate formulas. Okay? You can just do this. That is what I was just going to do, just for this very simple example. But it's not super solid if I just do year today minus year of the birth date, right? That will work. But what if the birthday is blank? It's gonna be what? It's gonna be weird, right? The age. What if the birthday is in the future? Somebody mistype it and it's going to be like 2025, the birth date. What about that, right? So somebody else made a very solid, accurate formula for you. You can just use it and save time. All right. So that's the key of the rule of thumb, the key. So don't just spend hours upon hours upon hours of your time trying to figure out one formula on your own. Always Google it first. That's the key. Google it first, and then you can build on that. If you have to test it as well. Okay. So let's go. It's enough of that. Otherwise, it's going to be so long. Date, and then there's the month function, the day function, right? The date function, the year function. Okay. This is just going to define the age. Okay. Let's go ahead. Next. Who's going to see it? Everybody is going to see it. Next. And I'm going to add it to all the page layout and save. Now we have an age field here, okay? Age. So now we can know Steven's birthday, right? By editing this display. Age, I'm going to add that and save, and you see, boom, Stephen is 14 years old, right? So let's add John. John, if I go to the details, is not age. You cannot edit a formula field, okay? It's a read only because the memory, Salesforce memory, is calculating that. The birth date, let's see, John was born in 2011, and let's do July 5 and save. You see, it knows right away the age is 8, right? So if I go back to my contacts and see just the students, now you see, oh, Stephen is 14, John is 8. So that is one simple formula. As I can see, we can build a whole bunch of formula. Excuse me. So let's book Stephen here, or maybe John. Let's book John a lesson, a swimming lesson. Okay. So if I go to details or related, we want to book a lesson for John. So it's going to be an opportunity. All right. I'm going to hit new. And I see, whoa, what's with all this stuff going on? We don't need all this stuff, right? So let's actually clean this up. It looks ugly and complicated. So somebody called, hey, this is John's mom. I want to book John a swimming lesson, and whoever is booking or picking up the phone, see, what's so many fields? What is this stuff? Order number, tracking number. We don't even use that. Let's clean that up first, okay? So I'm going to cancel this. And that would be on the opportunity, right? So if I go back to my setup, here, this is setup, right? Object manager. So what object? Opportunity. Because we hold the lessons on the opportunity, right? So this is a good refresher for the admin beginner module. You have to keep practicing. Page layouts, right? We have page layout. So this is just the basic opportunity layout. Or let's create a whole new one. All right, I'm going to make a new one, which is a better way to do it. A new page layout. And I'm going to name it swimming lessons. Page layout, okay? And I'm going to save it. And there we have it. So, oh, it knows. We have opportunity name, close date, stage, probability. It has to be that. The lesson start date, end date, start time, and then the level, and the teacher, of course, right? Who is going to teach this? Swimming instructor. All right, maybe put it on the right side. Swimming instructor. What is this? Notes, okay? What else do we have that we might use? I'm just gonna scan with my eyeball here. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, swimming pool. Where are they going to swim, right? Where? Type quantity. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to save this guy. And we are going to assign swimming lessons to everybody because we are a swimming organization. This is swim kids, right? So I'm going to edit assignment and I'm going to select the page layout. Wait, I'm going to select everything. Use your shift there, so make it all purple. And I'm going to choose swimming lessons for everybody, right? All right, now that's done. Now if I go back to John, John's mom called. Hello, this is Red Cross Swimming Kids. How can I help you? And then John's mom. Oh, I want to book swimming lesson for my 8-year-old John. Okay, one moment. And then the receptionist create a new opportunity. Okay, so it looks better, right? Nope, it's not yet refreshed as I told you before. Take a few seconds. If I refresh this, try it again. There, that's better. See, this is more clean. So opportunity name, we can also automate this with a workflow rule, but I don't think we have even discussed about processes, so I'm just gonna type it. Okay, so close date would be today's date. Okay, this is the when the call was made. So let's for example make it close 1. So the mom called, and then when would you like to start the lesson, ma'am? What about first week of December? So start is Monday. Yeah, Monday would be good. For how long? For a week. Okay, for a week, and then ends in December 6th. So 1 week, right? 1 week. When do you want to start the lesson? After school? Yeah, 4 p.m. Okay, 4 p.m. after school. 4 p.m. Whoa, where's the 4 p.m.? And it's a 30-minute lesson or 1 hour? 30 minutes a day. Okay, 4:30 p.m. ends 4:30 p.m. Come on, dude. Or you can even type it here. Okay, you can type that. And it says 2:45. 4:30 p.m. Okay, swim kids level. So when is what is the last level John have? And the mom says, oh, he's on swim kids 4 and now going to 5. Okay, swim kids 5. And how would you like to pay, ma'am? I'll pay when I come. Okay, And then this would be on the, I don't know, let's pool. This would be on the, what is this? Centennial pool, ma'am. Okay, Centennial pool. And we're just gonna choose instructor, Sarah Litton. Okay. Let's just pick one. Okay. So I'm gonna save this. So now John have a lesson booked from December 2nd to December 6th, 4 p.m. to 4:30, 30 minutes each, and swim kids 5, right? So I'm gonna save that. Awesome. So if I go to my opportunity here, or just click on here, and I can see the details here. So it has this field, right? So if, for example, we want to know how far away is the lesson from today. So if it's just 1 day before the lesson, we would like to automatically call John's mom, who is Christy, and give a robot notification. Hello, this is Centennial Pool calling, reminding you that John West have a swimming lesson tomorrow at 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Thank you, this is an automated reminder. Something like that, right? Which is cool. Okay, so we want to do that. That's going to be triggering a process with Einstein voice, which is cool. But let's create a field so we know how close we are from the day of the lesson. This is 2019 December, right? So let's create a field. Okay, so if I go back to my opportunity object here, Object Manager Opportunity, where do we go to create a field? Fields and relationships. Here. And then what are we going to create? A new what? Formula. Here. Formula. Alright. And then we're gonna go next. And then let's name it days to lesson. Okay, how many days is it to start the lesson? How many days? Okay, so we are going to also have a number and 0. We want 1 day or 2 day, not 1.2 days, right? And then next. Now this would be a pretty simple one, so we don't need to Google it. Let's try, for example, I'm feeling creative. Okay, so insert field here. What would you think it would be? We want to know how many days we got until the lesson start date. So we want to grab the what? Lesson start date, right? Lesson start date here, right? Insert. And then minus what? The function of today is today. Alright, today, like that. Is this even right? Check the syntax. No syntax error, so that's pretty simple, right? What is today? There. Today returns the current date. So the lesson start date, which is in the future, this is still in the future, right? Right? And then minus today. Okay? So the number of days before the lesson start. That is what it is, right? So let's hit next. That's it, and we are going to show this to everybody. And next, and we're going to add that to the swimming lessons only, because it's not related, this whole opportunity, right? Just the swimming lessons, and save. So there we have it. Remember, when you add stuff to Lightning, sometimes, not sometimes, even most of the time, if you go back, it doesn't show up right away for some reason. So this, if I'm going to refresh it, I want to see how many days left. Is it there? We'll find out. Details. Days to lesson. It's still blank, which is weird. It's not supposed to be blank. It's a formula, dude. So let's refresh it again. Nothing wrong with it there. It's just not picking up yet. Okay. All right. Did we do something wrong? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure. It's the lesson start date minus today, right? Yeah. So let's go around. Let's go to opportunities. Let's play around. I'm going to go to opportunities. So we have here, and let's even add the display here. Recently viewed. Let's choose all opportunities. Oh, I don't want that. Let's make a new one. Not new opportunity, my bad, cancel. New list here. Okay. A new list, I'm gonna say upcoming swimming lesson. Okay. Let's share it. Everybody can see. And then it's going to be all opportunities. We just want to see the swimming lessons opportunities, not the whole shebang here from Salesforce Trailhead, okay? So done, and then add filter. I'm just gonna say probably swim kits or the lesson start date equals or lesson start date is greater or equal than today, and save. Boom, we have one. Now we want to change the display here. Select fields to display. I want to see days to lesson. That's the one that we just add. I don't need the owner. I don't need the amount. Close date, yeah. Stage, yeah. Why not? Account opportunities, save. Aha, now it's picking up. Now you know. Now 7 days to lesson, right? Even if I change this to lesson start date would be helpful as well, and the end date, right? Lesson start date, lesson end date, and start time, end time. Put this on the very left and save. See, days to lesson is 7. It's 7 days until the date that John will actually take his swimming class. So you know the swimming pool here, where it's going to be held on. The manager or the instructor, the teacher, and then the pool. The lesson ends at this time and all this information. But the important thing is we have days to lesson, 7 days. So if the system wants to also just send an email to the parents 1 day before, we can do that, right? Or it wants to go to an automated call, or it reminds the staff of the swim kids staff to call the parent, to call Christy when it's 1 day to lesson. Remind them, oh, you have a swimming lesson for John for tomorrow when it's 1, right? When it hits 1, it's gonna hit a reminder. So that is what you can do with the formula, the power of the formula as well. All right. So you can do a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of things. For example, if you have the cost, how much does it cost for 1 hour of a lesson? For example, is $30 an hour. If it's $30 an hour to take a swimming lesson, how much would the mom have to pay? So the receptionist doesn't have to calculate with a calculator. Oh, you want to just do that? Let's do that, okay? So let's do that. So let's do a pretty more complex formula. If I go back to my opportunity here, and I'm going to add the total cost, okay? So new formula. I was just thinking in my head here because I didn't plan this, but let's go dive in. Okay, a new formula field on the opportunity, total lesson cost. All right, let's make it a currency. It has a decimal, just in case you have to pay $15.99 or something like that. Okay, so but let's make it simple for this example. It can be tricky, so you have to test it. When you're doing formulas, you have to test it. Okay, so if I go back here and refresh, there it should be $75, right? Because it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because the minusing, come on, don't go blank on me. If I refresh, because the minusing this would just minus it and then you have to plus 1, right? That makes sense for you, I hope. So, because otherwise it's just gonna be 4, because you're minusing it. But you want to include the last day, so you have to plus 1. All right. So make sure you always test your formula, and the result has to be the same like you're calculating it manually with a calculator. So it has to be the same. Once it's the same and exactly what you want, then you know the calculation is actually accurate. All right. So there's also a rule of thumb. Always test your formula and make sure it's accurate. Okay. So that's basically the 2 or 3 example formulas we are discussing. As I told you before, Google is your friend, and this helps Salesforce. If you Google Salesforce formula reference, you're going to play around on here when building formulas a whole lot of time. Okay, you're gonna read this as you need it, not reading it on your own. That's gonna be, you're gonna forget all about it. But as you build formula, ooh, I need to do this, ooh, I need to do that, Google it. Somebody else might have built the formula already, so you can modify it and test it. Test it. Okay, like you see what I was doing. I was building a formula, but the result is not what I want, so I'm missing something. So I fixed that. Okay, so always test it. All right. So that's pretty much about formula, and they are also showing the formula, the power of 1, I think. Oh yeah, also when it's not right, you need to figure it out, like debugging formula, right? Like for example, if you're putting something that's not supposed to be there and you check syntax, it's gonna say, oh, something wrong, the red here. So you can figure that out as well. And if you're stuck on a formula, ask me anytime. Go to zone.io and then ask Jimmy. I like solving formula. First thing though, I always Google it. And then from the Google, I modify the formula, you know, how I like it. Okay. So that's debugging. Also, the power of 1 is obsolete, because the power of 1 here is obsolete, because now on Salesforce Winter 20 release, you can find unique users without having to go through these hoops and loops, and you can create it from Lightning out of the box. So let me show you. If I Google Salesforce Winter 20 power of 1, so this is the newest released of Salesforce version. It's for Winter 2020. If we go here, key dates, so this is the new features. So count unique values in report results. It's still in beta, but this is helping us to do what the power of 1 formula is trying to do. So what is this power of 1 is doing? So for example, if I go to our swimming kids example, so this is 2 students, right? This is the parents. They both have the same teachers. So if I go, let's make a report out of it. Let's quickly make a report. I'm going to go to reports and new reports. and then it's opportunity because the swimming lessons is on the opportunity object. So let's run this. No, let's take the swimming instructor. So if I run this, we see both student had swimming instructor is both Sarah Litton, right? So for example, the swimming pool manager asked who is in charge. So how many swimming instructors do we have on duty on the week of December the 2nd? So if you have like 200 records of swimming lessons, you don't want to eyeball it, right? Like, oh, this is the same instructor, so this is one. So you don't want to count it with your eyes. So you want a unique count of the swimming instructor. So both Sarah and Sarah is counted once. We don't want to count this twice. So right now it's saying total records 2, but it's actually only one instructor, both Sarah Litton, right? So what the power of 1 is doing is just that, to count unique whatever you want, unique instructor or unique accounts, and whatever you want to count uniquely. So on the winter 2020 version, you have this new feature. It's saying show unique count. So this additional feature will do exactly what this formula is doing. So I don't have to go through the example of the power of 1 because it's pretty much obsolete, and so it's no longer being needed going on. All right. So with that being said, let's do the challenge. All right, scroll down, and then there's further examples. You can do URLs or hyperlinks on the Salesforce field formula, and you can round and all. You can build pretty much anything you need to build. Okay. So let's do the hands-on challenge already. So we are going to work on the contract object. It's a contract, not contact. So formula return type is number, fields is days remaining. Okay, let's start building this. Okay, this is pretty simple. So if I go back to my Trailhead playground, we go to setup again and object manager. So it's the contract object, not contact. Contract object there, and I'm gonna hit contract, fields and relationships, and new field, it's a formula, and it says days remaining. That I'm gonna choose that and tap over. It's gonna fill this for you, and it's a number. Do we want a decimal? So it's just a number. They don't mention how many decimals. So let's make it 0 because we want to know the days remaining. So we don't need the decimal, just 1 days or 2 days, right? So next, and then let's go back. Field level security visible and read only. Add it to the contact layout. So okay. Create a formula field that determines the number of days between the end of the contract and today. That's easy. So the end of the contract and today. If I go back to the contract here, so we're going to the advanced formula here, and you go insert field, contract. So end date. We want the end date. We have contract start date. We want contract end date. Okay, the end date, right, minus today. Today is a function, so you can do that. So end date minus today, and check the syntax. It's looking good. So I'm gonna hit next here, and let's see what they want. Field level security visible and read only for all profiles. Okay, we can do that. So visible for all profiles, and it's read only already. So next, we want to add to the contract layout. Let's take a look. Yeah, add the field to the contract layout. The formula should return a number of days. Oh, that's it. So we're pretty much done. So I'm gonna save, and that's it. So let's test it out so we can know for sure we're gonna get the 500 points. So I'm gonna launch this and go to contract, not contact, make a new sample contract. I'm gonna make a new one, and let's pick an account, any account. Pool there, and then nothing else is required. We are just going to, so I'm gonna, the start date is tomorrow, and then the end date is, it doesn't even have an end date over here. So I'm just gonna put how many months, right? 2 months, and then, and save pretty much. I'm gonna save. Now I want to check if my formula is functioning. So days remaining, 60 more days. So that's calculating as we expected. Now we can go ahead and check the challenge. Get our 500 points, and bada bing, bada boom. Boom. 3 and 2 and 1 and boom. Boom. I'll see you on the next module. Good job.